morning and thanks for joining us on this Friday, August 24th. I'm Lauren Barnes.
I'm Joe Morano. Hope you guys doing well out there as, weekend right around the corner, right?
Yeah, another chilly one too, so grab that jacket again.
Certainly. You want to do that before, at least to start the day, because all we've been hearing is summery weather's coming this weekend.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later. Let's check in with Elisa Raffa for your forecast first this morning.
Good morning, guys. We're starting out with a couple of clouds and some showers out there this morning. It is 67 degrees in Springfield. It's a little bit more humid. We have a south wind at 18 miles per hour. That south wind will continue to be steady as we head through at the afternoon there. We've got a couple of clouds out there this morning and a line of some showers and rumbles of thunder up to the north. We can take a look here at the radar. We've got a couple of clusters of some locally heavy rain over Versailles, one just to the east of Lake of the Ozarks, over Hermitage as well. Any of these small storms could have some penny-sized hail out there this morning, but we're not really expecting severe weather this morning there. But you might have some rain on the windshield, especially if you live up to the north. It's 73 in Joplin, it's 65 in Fort Leonard Wood, and 64 in Mountain Grove this morning. We're looking at rain chances, especially for the first half of the day. Then we could have some redevelopment in the afternoon, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that. I do think that the best storm chances will be before the evening commute. By the evening commute, we should dry out a little bit more. By dismissal, 87 degrees, much warmer. Details on the drought and Hurricane Lane and storm chances, all of that in 10 minutes.
It's your right to know this morning. The Catholic diocese that oversees Springfield and Cape Girardeau will launch an investigation of its own files in the wake of reported abuse by priests across the country. This news comes the same day that the Missouri Attorney General's office announced it's launched an independent review of the Archdiocese in St. Louis regarding allegations of sexual abuse by clergy members. The diocese there voluntarily agreed to cooperate. However, back here at home, the Springfield Cape Girardeau diocese will look into its own personnel files dating all the way back to its formation in 1956. The organization's director of communications, Leslie Edson, told the Springfield News Leader the inquiry was being launched at the direction of Bishop Edward Rice, who Pope Francis picked to lead local Catholics in April of 2016. Edson says the investigation was issued in the interest of transparency and referenced the report involving alleged priest abuse in Pennsylvania. Church leaders are looking for non-Catholic investigators as well as someone familiar with employment law.
A man who was convicted of the 2015 murder of a Springfield woman is expected to be sentenced later today. Back in April, a Greene County jury found 41-year-old Andrew Jensen guilty of second-degree murder and armed criminal action. His victim was 48-year-old Kathy Jones and was found stuffed under a mattress in her home after not being seen for a few days. Jensen, who was homeless, was friends with Jones, sometimes staying the night in her van. A prosecutor said Jensen brutally killed her. The jury suggested life in prison for murder and another 75 years for armed criminal action.
A 15-year-old boy was killed yesterday in Howell County after the car he was riding in was struck by a truck. 15-year-old Stetson Hutchinson was riding in the car south of West Plains shortly after 4 p.m. The car was waiting to make a left turn when a truck struck the car from behind. Hutchinson was taken to the emergency room but was pronounced dead an hour later. Two other people in the car, a 34-year-old and 16-year-old, were injured as well. The driver of the truck was not.
Some more local news. An Arkansas man was arrested after refusing to identify himself when he got pulled over. That man spent 4 months in jail, and he says his rights were violated in that traffic stop. In Arkansas and in Missouri, drivers are required to show proof of ID when requested by an officer. One Springfield attorney says an officer has to first tell you why you were pulled over and says questions during a traffic stop should be limited.
Outside of who you are and then potentially where you're going and where you came from, you shouldn't answer many more questions than that, because outside of that, it's not really relevant to the traffic stop.
Huffman says the way the law is written now, even when you feel your rights are being violated, it's best to comply. If you resist, you can be charged with resisting arrest, which can vary from 1 to 4 years behind bars.
In some education coverage now, Springfield Public School students who qualify for free and reduced lunch have another opportunity for some assistance through the PTA Clothing Bank. The Clothing Bank is a joint effort between the Parent Teacher Association and Kiwanis Club. They get 5 tops, 3 bottoms, socks, underwear, as well as a pair of shoes at no cost to the families. Clothes are donated from a number of places. The co-chair at the Clothing Bank, Patty Dunn, says the confidence a new outfit can bring doesn't have to be seasonal.
They can come 3 times a year, and we like them to come, in the fall and then in the winter and then in the spring. They get a free coat in the winter time. All the clothes are donated from people all over the city, and other organizations besides schools like churches and other places do clothing drives for us.
You can still register your child for free and reduced lunch to be eligible for this service, and the PTA is always accepting donations. If your child has clothes in good condition that they can't wear anymore, there's a list of places you can drop off those items for the Clothing Bank on ozarksfirst.com. They will be put to good use.
I have a local spotlight for you here. Volunteers with Springfield's Convoy of Hope are busy, but officials with Convoy say they're better equipped than ever for handling multiple disasters at a time. Between Hurricane Lane in Hawaii and wildfires out west, Convoy is getting volunteers set to respond. Spokesman Jeff Nini shared what's behind the organization's ability to make an impact.
We've got a group of people that work here that really give themselves to people in need. For us, we've gotten better over the last couple years. We don't like why we've gotten better, but we have gotten better at handling multiple disasters.
After bringing on more volunteers, he says Convoy plans to head back to Puerto Rico next year, and they already have a crew on the ground in Hawaii. Volunteers from the organization have been to more than 120 countries.
Well, it's been a 4-year wait, but developers announced their plans for the site of the Grand Palace in Branson. It could turn into a 46,000 square foot aquarium. The project will be done in phases, with the first phase funded through a TIF or tax increment financing. The other phases will be fully funded by Kuvera Partners, the developers who purchased the palace 4 years ago. The company also owns and operates Branson's Hollywood Wax Museum. If it's approved, they hope to have it completed by March of 2020. The subject will be taken up again at a Board of Aldermen's meeting this coming Tuesday.
Okay.